Alrighty, good morning and welcome to the How Can I Support My Child series. It is exciting, another beautiful day, and I am super excited to be on your screen this morning where we will be answering another question that parents ask about how they can support their children. In today's episode, we are going to be answering the question, how can I was our question for today actually. How can I help my child, or how can I raise young children and preteens who are not easily influenced? How can I raise my children? How can I raise my 6 year old, my 8 year old, my 10 year old? How can I raise my 13-year old Justin to be someone that is not easily influenced by their peers and all of the amazing things out there that influence our children? Let's look at some of the things that can influence your child in today's world. We'll be looking at some of the things that influence our children in today's world. We'll be looking at what it is that causes this influence. Why is your child a victim of peer influence or societal influence? Why is it easy that your child can be influenced? And what can you do to support your child today so that your child is not that person that can be swayed or can be moved? Sorry about this. I'm trying to I actually forgot my screen. All right, so that your child is not that person that can be easily swayed or can be easily influenced by other people. What can we do to give our children this advantage? This is what we're going to be talking about today. My name is Maribel Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. And of course, need I add, the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle. The Mastermind Circle is a peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for young children and preteens. We run this circle for this group of children because we want to equip them to be able to navigate the world on their own. I wrote a post this morning and I said in that post that our children are just small versions of us. They are adults in training. Welcome if you're just joining me on Instagram. I'm super excited to have you here. So whatever platform you're joining us from, you are welcome here. Why don't you go ahead and make this something that you do with us as regularly as we do this? We are on here at 8:30 a.m. every day from Monday through Friday, where we come in here to share nuggets and tips and share experiences on how you can support your young children and your preteen. All right, we do this for about 30 minutes every morning, and then we leave you with these tips so that you can go and apply them in your parenting. But let me add here, dear parents, the little tips you get here and there are not enough for you to actually parent effectively and parent intentionally. You may need, or you will always need, more than just the tips. So we say to you, apply yourself and allow yourself build knowledge. Allow yourself get knowledge about parenting. Parenting, like every other endeavor in life, can be learned and can be made intentional. And in being intentional, it means you're getting knowledge to improve yourself. So there are books to be read, there are courses to take, and even better, there are accountability systems where you can be with other parents, sharing notes, sharing experiences, and then, of course, applying some of the experiences that you get. There is always higher knowledge in every area of life. And that's why we have mastery and we have experts in each of these areas. We can't all be experts in every areas of our lives. That is why we are specializing in different areas. So while you specialize in your area, turn to the people who are specialized in other areas that can help you, and so leverage that support, leverage that help so that you can be effective in all of these areas. I know a lot of us will not leave our jobs and leave everything that we're doing to come and sit at home and parent our children, learn about it, and all of that. So that is why you need a support system. Those whose job it is to gain mastery and higher knowledge in this area so that they can support you. So, yes, submit yourself to accountability systems. And don't do this alone because, as I said, your children are adults in training. Your children are a work in progress. Your children are evolving every day. So, what it means is that you should be training them for the outcome. I mean, you should be training them for the vision or training them to be what it is that you're raising them for. We are raising children to be adults who can live exuberant or fulfilled life and can navigate life on their own without us. You're raising children to become independent, autonomous human beings that do not need you to thrive. And so, if this is the case, it means that there are certain things that you should be doing, right, to raise them to be that kind of person that you think they deserve to be, isn't it? So it simply means that there has to be a way. I mean, I'm raising you to be this model. There's a model of what I'm raising you to be. What it means is that there has to be something that you are seeing that is pointing you to that model that should be put in front of you that is leading you to to that vision that we have up there, right? There are things or there are standards that will help you achieve the outcome that you are looking at. There are values that must be incorporated into that system. So there has to be a system that is creating a particular kind of person that you want to raise your child to be. All right. When I say a particular kind of person, what kind of human being, right? What kind of human being do you want to raise your child to become? That should determine the way that you are raising that child. That's why scripture says that you should train up a child in the way that they should go. Now, it means that there has to be a way that they should go. And so it is when they are not on that lane, when they are not going in that way, that you say they have departed from the way. Now, if there is no way, you don't have a destination, you don't have a plan, you don't have a particular way that you want to raise them, then you don't even know when they are going astray, isn't it? You don't go to a university to go and become a medical doctor or to go and become an engineer or to go and become a nurse and you go and take lectures in the theater arts department, right? You don't go and you want to be a lawyer and you dress. I remember back then when we were in school, the things that we wore, the law students couldn't wear that because the institution was raising them in a way. The institution had a destination. And so the 100 level law student who is just 16 had a model of that magistrate, had a model of that, lawyer, has a model of that person that is being raised to be, or that professional that is being raised to be. So from 100 level, he's already made to look or to dress in line with that person or that vision where he's going to. So, dear parents, who are you raising your child to be? It's the person or it's what you're raising that child to be that would determine the way. So, for some of us, we're raising kings. For some of us, we're raising royalty. So, no, we don't do crop tops. We don't do bomb shots. We don't do 10 piercing. We don't do certain things because we are not raising. If we do that, then they are not on the path to becoming royalties. Do you understand? And it is okay. It's actually okay to raise, you can choose. It's a choice. Some of us have chosen to raise royals, to raise people who sit on tables with kings, to sit people, to raise people who sit in the tables or on the tables where policies and real trajectories are being, curated and all of that. So because of that, there is a way that we are raising them, and there are no biases to those who are actually raising them in other ways, because hey, there will be all kinds of people. We can't all be going in one direction, isn't it? So yes, there are people who are raising, there are people who probably are raising children who will be touts, because if you're not raising them to be touts, then you will not allow them, or you will not agree to some toutish behavior. Do you understand? So it is simple. Whatever it is that we give permission to as a parent, of course, shows the direction or the way that we are raising our children to go. So, in retrospect, you can't wake up today or you can't stay today and you are not intentional about the way that the child should go. You do not have a path or a way that the child should go. And then all of a sudden, you just wake up and it dawns on you that, oh, I am now 60, or I'm going to be 60 soon, or my child is now 20. Oh, there has to be a way now. Oh, there has to be something. I need to start telling the child, don't you know how to dress? Couldn't you dress better? Shouldn't you be talking better? Shouldn't you stop talking to me like that? No, you can't wake up at 20. You can't wake up anytime and say, you know something, let's adjust. You're older now. No, you do not create ways from nowhere. The ways is how you will raise the person. The way is how you will train the person. The way is how you will model to the person. The way is how you will role play for the person. The way is how you will simulate the person. All right, you should look for that post in the group today where I talked about, wherever it is that you're taking them to is how you should raise them, really. All right, so we're going to be looking at now. I have where I am going to. I have a destination. I have a way that I'm raising this child. Now, I am not oblivious of the fact that while you are at that, there are so many other influences that can actually sway the child. There are so many other influences, so many other people who are not raising their children with the same vision as you are raising your children. And your children are going to end up in the same environment, in the same space, in the same, basically environment space. Yeah, they're going to end up in the same environment with these people, with all people from all different kinds of backgrounds, different parts of different value systems, different parental influences, advantages and disadvantages. They are going to come in contact with all of these people. How are you going to ensure that you are raising a person that you are not just taking to a destination, but you are fortifying them and prepping them to know and identify the influences that are wrong and to stand their grounds even in the face of these influences? So let's look at some of the things in our environment that, whether we like or not, will try to influence our children. Some of the obstacles that our children will come in contact with, whether or not we like. Number one is their peers. All right, their peers. Our children will meet their peers, and they will meet these peers in the church. Yes, thank you. They will meet them in the mosque. Yes, thank you. They will meet them in their school, big time. They'll meet them in their schools, big time. They will meet them in the neighborhood, big time. Let me shock you. They can actually meet them even within your family. So these are places that our children could come across negative influences, or people who would influence them negatively or try to influence them negatively. Now, why is this so? As I said, we are coming from different backgrounds. We are coming from different value systems. We are coming from different ideology, of course. We're coming from different beliefs and ideologies and all of that. Now, we are coming from different social statuses. Okay, we're all coming from all of these differences. And yes, you could actually be with your sibling, and you and your sibling somewhere along the way do not share the same value system. And so your children will have cousins whose values do not align with your values. And so, yes, automatically, these people will pose an influence that your child will either cower for or your child will resist. So these are our realities. And of course, there is society. All right, society will also influence our children. How does it do this? Through the print media, through the social media, Odogu, yes, through the Odogu social media, okay, that we're dealing with today, and of course, all the other media influences, the TV, and all of that. So these are our realities, and these are the things that you should be looking out for. All right, these are the areas that our children, your child, can be influenced by, and you should be paying attention to. All right. Now, why do children, what will make your child susceptible to being influenced? Okay, what is that thing that you may be doing or not doing today that puts your child at risk of being easily influenced or easily swayed from what from the way that you are raising them. All right. Number one reason why your child can be easily swayed is when you have raised them without being intentional. So, as a parent, when you are raising children and you, as a parent, are not intentional about that journey, what do I mean by this? In raising your children, you are neither here nor there. You don't have a template, or you have not been able to sit down and create your why. You've not been able to sit down and decide, okay, this is what I want. This is my plan. You don't have a parenting plan. You don't have a parent. You just know that, oh yeah, they will go to primary school. My job is to work and pay fees. They will go to secondary school. I will try and get them into a school that is very good, that they say is very good. They pass WAEC, they do all of that, and all of that. So they get into that school, and then they will graduate one day. We will look for admission for them. If that admission means we have to pay some money to get them into the school, so be it. But when they get to a certain age, they will now go to university. When they now get to university, we will help them. We will walk along. They will get a job. They will not get a job. When they finish getting the job, our prayer, we will now enter our prayer room. We will shake it, and we will shake it, and we will shake it, so that they will find wives and they will find husbands. They will not find wife, they will not find husband. They are now married. When they are now married, we will not shake it some more, shake it some more, shake it some more, so that they will have children. They will not have 1, 2, 3, 4 grandchildren for us. They have turned out well. Everything is okay. They are beautiful and all of that. Now, it will shock you, but over 80-90% of people from the side of the world, this is all that we've got as a parenting plan for our children. Absolutely, totally, and completely so. Now, if you're a 21st century parent and this is all that you think is a parenting plan, if you belong to that table where you are still saying to yourself, oh, you people are too serious about everything. If you're at that table where you are still saying to yourself, you can't teach me how to parent my child. Everybody do what works for you. If you're on that table where the basic is all you are asking the basic is all that you are pointing your children to. The basic is all that you want for your child. The basic is all that your eyes are even open to. Then, dear parents, I need you to stop today and begin to think about it. If you were, as my coach would say, if you were handed Mark Zuckerberg, or you were handed Elon Musk, or you were handed or you were handed Bezos, or you were handed even Dangote, or you were handed any of these people who have changed the narrative in the world. If you were they were handed to you as their parents, will they be what they are today? If Serena Williams was your child, will she be what she is today? Because the truth about it is, a lot of the times, the advantages that our children will have, or what our children will really turn out to be, the blessing that our children will be to the world, is going to be the advantage that we were to them as parents. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, I want you to take some time today and read the stories of the people who raised these people that we're talking about today. Read and see the advantages that these people gave to their children. What you will find that if you will realize that, no, these people were not basic parents who thought all they needed to do was pay fees and pay this and give them this, let them go to this, let them finish, let them marry, hallelujah, everything is over. So yes, if you're going to be raising a child who is going to break grounds, who is going to leave their name in the sands of time, if you're going to raise a child who is going to be a blessing, I read somewhere, someone said, do you know that child you raise and how well you raise the child can be your one the one impact or the one purpose that God created you for? Do you know that child you raise can be the blessing that you give to humanity? Do you know that the people who kill people, do you know that, what is his name? Hitler was somebody's child. He was somebody's child. Now, what did that parent do to the world? Bless the world or curse the world? So yes, parents, parenting is our first is your biggest ministry. And no, the child you raise is fully your responsibility. Let's stop all that thinking that you can raise a child. I did my best. I did my best. I cannot come and carry out the child. No, what you raise, the person you raise, is your responsibility. How your child turns out is your responsibility first. I remember back then when I was actively teaching in school, and I used to have like American bosses, and that time they would be like, when the children in your class fail, they turn it all on you. They go like big time, it's you, that's your appraisal, and all of that. And we Nigerians, we used to get very upset, like, what's going on? How can you say that? Am I going to come and do everything for the child and all of that? But when you go and you really think about it, you had that child for a whole year. Meaning, if you paused and you took the time to understand how that child learns, to understand how you can serve that child effectively, to understand how you can support that child to be the best version of themselves, what will happen is the child may not emerge as top in the class, but definitely the child will make progress. And so when I stopped and I started understanding and I started thinking beyond the limit of my society, I started thinking beyond the limit of mediocrity, I could understand these professionals, that all they were saying is, it is your job to help this learner progress from point A to point B. Point A to B may not be the same way that the next child is progressing, but let this child progress. Let this child move from point A to point B, and let that point 1A to B be known and appreciated by the child. Let there be an obvious change and transformation in the child's life. So if a child comes to a class and the child stays an entire year and there is no transformation, it means that the child has not been educated, because that's what education is, the transformation of humans, basically. So, dear parents, we have a role, whether we like it or not, and how our children turn out is our responsibility 100%. So this is not the time that you're raising from a basic place. This is not a time that you are raising, you just do the basic and you go. This is not the time that you sit in your little corner and clap for yourself and say, at least I did this. How about the rest? So this is not the time that parenting is a part-time job. Parenting is a full-time job. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Please tell yourself this today, and tell yourself, I have a responsibility to be there, to create the right foundation, to program this human being at least for the first 18 years of their life. And you know something, where I believe that if you do this, then the child cannot sway, because the word of God that I believe in says, if you train up a child in the way that the child will go, the child will not depart from it. So if the child departs from it, it's because you did not train the child in the way that the child should go. Because training the child in the way that the child should go is more than just paying school fees, driving them to church, sitting down in church, coming back, eating food, thank you, mommy, thank you, daddy, and that's it. Training them in the way of God is in the way they should go, is understanding your beliefs, is you modeling that beliefs, is you modeling what they should do, how they should do it, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, is you sharing your values with them, is you sharing your convictions with them, is you understanding each of them, is you becoming a parent that can be trusted and believed. This is what we are talking about in this session today. All right, so we already know that the media and all of these things will influence our children. So what can we do to help them not be influenced by all of these things that are calling for their attention? All right, so first of all, if you as a parent are not intentional, your child will be easily swayed. All right. Number two, if you as a parent does not accept and does not have an environment in your home that allows children to make mistakes and fail, what will happen is your child is going to be easily judged. So children who are constantly being judged, children who are constantly being punished for their mistakes, children who are constantly being told, all of the negative things that they are and will hardly hear all of the positive things that they hear. We have some of the wrongest mentality and some of the craziest beliefs, especially in this part of the world, okay, where we are taught that fathers are supposed to be hard and fathers are supposed to be strict and fathers are not supposed to be tender. So that's why we have men who do not know how to who do not know how to hug their children, who do not know how to hug their sons, who do not know how to hug their daughters, men who do not know how to sit with their children and play with their children for 30 minutes, 1 hour. We have men who think that there is too much to be done outside than to stay and have time for their children, because culture. So culture is one of the influence, whether it's pop culture, is our tradition, all of it can be one of the influences. So it has told us that the man's job is to make his son hard. So your son is not supposed to cry, he's supposed to be hard. Your son is not supposed to be tender, he's supposed to be hard. Your son is not supposed to be this, it's not supposed to be that, it's supposed to be hard. And it is your job to make them hard. No, sir. What you are doing is you are making them cold. You're making them cold. So where coldness works is when there's a riot and you can bust head. Those are cold people. They are the ones who do that. Where coldness works is where you can beat up a woman. That's where it will come. All of that training you are giving him, that's where it will manifest. So when you raise him to be cold, it means that someone is in pain and he can walk away because he's cold. It means that when he sees tears, he's irritated because he's cold. It means that when people are in pain, he's looking at ideals only because it's cold. So that's where your coldness will be. It means that even you, that is the parents, a time will come in your life that all they need is to sit next to you and hold your hands and tenderly stroke your hand. They can't do it because they are too cold for those kind of expressions. You told them to be hard. It means that they can't leave and take a holiday and come and stay with you for 3 days just to be with you, laughing and gisting and eating and just being with their father. Just being with you. I just came to be with you, daddy. I just came to be with you, mommy. Your child cannot even stay with you for 1-2 days. They would rather stay with their friends because you raised them to be cold, unaffectionate, while you're trying to make them men. And then for some of us men, because you're a man, your daughter is a girl, you're not supposed to be too close to her, she's a girl. And so you don't hug, you don't do anything. So when she goes out and she sees one guy that is all over her, she wants to die there. She wants to die there because somehow, she's never known the affection, the tenderness of a man. She's never known it. So when she sees one boy that all of a sudden sees her, how many times did you see her? How many times were you with your daughter alone, taking time, laughing? Do you carry? Some men have never carried their daughters before. Nothing. It's coldness all over the place. It's not just fathers I came here for today. Even you as a mother, you are so mommy, you are so busy. You have friends to talk to anyway. You have your mother to talk to on the phone. You have this, or you're constantly on the phone. So you are there in the house, full. Some of us who work at home, you are there in your computer. Me, Steph, I'm in this matter too. Because every time I tell myself, I'm going to spend this, when the children come, I'll drop tools from, 5 o'clock till about 8 o'clock. And then I'll go back to do last bit. And then I'm here. I'm working at 5. I'm here working at 6. I'm here. I'm coming for myself today. You're at home. You are mommy. You are in the house. Yet, all that your presence is, mommy, can I take this? Go and take. Mommy, can I take that? Go and take. Mommy, this, yes. Leave me alone. Get out. Close the door and everything. So where are you? So if we're there emotionally, if you're not there emotionally for your child will be that person that is easily influenced by the people who come and show them the tenderness that they yield, that they yearn for. Because as human beings, every single one of us yearns to be seen, yearns to be loved, yearns to receive tenderness. Every single one of us. All right? So that's it. If you are a parent who is not modeling to your child and you are not passing down your beliefs, your faith, your ideologies, right? and of course your convictions. If you're not passing this down to your child, then your child does not have a standard for what is right and what isn't right. So that kind of child will be easily influenced. I remember back in the day, we had gone to the university, we're not big girls, 18, 19, 20, and all of that. And then you get there with your one piercing and all of that. And then the friends, now everybody's piercing. 1, 2, 3, 5 holes. This one here, this one there. Those of us who came from where there were no convictions. Nobody said, this is it, this is why. You don't know the why, you don't know the nothing. We got there. And so this one, oh, it's so pretty, so pretty. I want. And then one of my friends, and where everybody wanted, she just said, no, I can't have. And everybody looked at her like, hey, you have come with your dryness again. And she's like, nah. We agreed with my mom that I can't do anything like that. I can't make any decision about my body until a particular age. Come on now. That's what we're talking about when we talk about convictions. When your children leave your home with convictions that you have passed down to them. Parents, this is the real legacy. The same person, I remember, I had been staying with my guardian at the time, so I didn't go to the hostel as I was supposed to go to the hostel. So at some point, I packed all my food, packed everything, and I said, okay, I'll come to come and give you guys, since I'm at home and all of that. And she looked at it and she was like, this is so thoughtful. This is so thoughtful, but I can't receive it. I just met you. Convictions. Systems. Do you understand? This, if I didn't know that I was learning from this friend of mine until I became a parent. Until I became a parent, I realized at some point that I was replacing a lot of what I knew, a lot of how I was raised by the standard that my friend was exhibiting and modeling when we were only 19. So she sits down pretty somewhere today, not knowing that she was the first model or correction for me. And that was only because I could stop and go back to how I was being raised and go back to the template that I have. And I started tweaking because I realized that I cannot raise my child or children the way I was raised. Not because there was anything wrong with my parents or because my parents are bad, but because my parents worked with what they had at the time. They didn't know any better. So they did an amazing job with what was available to them at the time. So I ask you, dear parents, what is available to you today? Are you using it? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves today. So I'm going to take, it's already time for us to go, but let me just take 10 more minutes, right? So let's stop at 40 today, all right? So that we can just finish this and we don't have to carry it over to tomorrow. So what is available to you? Are you using it? Basically this. Do you get it now? All right, so these are the issues. So yes, this would also influence your child, all right? When there are no convictions passed, there are no ideologies passed, there is no beliefs passed and all of that. Now, for some of us, when it comes to our faith, when your faith is not defined, when your children do not know your God, when your children have not been taken on a journey to know and to understand your God. Some people or some of us think that religion or our beliefs should fall on our children. So because I put them in my car and I drive them to church every day, automatically they will be Christians or they will be Muslims. No wonder we have more and more children young people who do not believe in God. That's because the foundation is so feather. The foundation is so feathery that there is nothing to hold on to. So the moment there is a conviction that is strong, we play a lot too. Have you seen these people who do not believe in God? Do you know the kind of confidence and precision they come with when they want to counter why you should believe in God? They are deep, they are knowledgeable, they will counter everything that you think you can put before them. They know scriptures, they can, the way Jesus and the devil were combating at the time with scriptures. Oh, if you are the Son of God, then climb here and I will do this. And you're like, oh, man shall not live by bread alone. And That's how they come for you. So these people take their time. It is even said that pedophiles have a manual. How, as a pedophile, you can actually, what you should go through, the steps you should go through to actually manifest and to achieve that vision, basically. Yet we want to raise children that we just drive to church, we just drop them, we just go away. We want to raise children that we pray with once in a month, that we don't even pray with at all. We want to raise children that principles do not apply for. We want to just do us. Let them do them. Do you understand? And then you want to come and fight 15 years later. If you are not, you cannot stay in my house. What did you do? What did you help that child? How did you raise that child in the way that they should go spiritually? The Bible says, if you bring up the child in the way that they should go, how can you raise them in a way in absentia? How can you raise them in a way without a plan? How can you raise them in a way without intentionality? How can you raise them in a way without structure? Nothing. What are you teaching them? Your life is not even exemplary enough. Your children cannot see you. The Bible says, I'm using the Bible because I'm a Christian, so look at it as a reference book as I'm talking if you're not of this faith. The Bible says that we should pray ceaselessly. How do your children do not even know if you pray? There's no model of it, basically. So no, this is not the time that you do water down anything if you're raising children. As a single lady, as a single man, you can water down anything you want to water. As a parent, you can't water down anything. You will put structure to it, and you will deliver it to your children because you are their teacher. You are their model. You are the one that is directing them in the way that they should go. Come on now. That is it. Okay, that is it. So if you do not stand for something, your children will also stand for nothing. So yes, whatever you want to see, put it together and pass it down to your children that way. This is how they are going to be this is how they're going to be people who cannot be easily influenced. The last one I'm going to be sharing with you today is, now, if you are raising children that you are not teaching them, right, that they are enough. If your children are not confident, and confidence is built at home, how you speak to your children, how you show your children, give them attention, how you love your children based on their love language, how your child wants to be loved, not how you think they should be loved, okay? How you pay attention to the things that bother them, not telling them off every time they are having an emotional breakdown or going through something. Come on, get away from here every time you're crying like that. So the way you see your children, the way you speak to your children, the way you make time for your children, the things you say to your children is how your children build confidence. That's how your children become confident people. Now, when your children are confident people, all right, then it is easy for them not to be afraid of missing out on anything. Because a lot of times, the reason our children get influenced easily is because they have FOMO, the fear of missing out. So they want their nose in everything. They want to do what all of their friends are doing. They want to do what pop culture is saying. Oh, now they are wearing the one and the trouser is on the bottom. So your child wants to do that because he's not confident. He doesn't know who he is. So children who are not self-aware, children with low self-esteem, children who do not know where they are coming from, children who do not have any convictions, they follow the crowd. They follow the crowd. So yes, if your children do not have all of this, they will follow the crowd. When they are not confident, they will follow the crowd. When they don't know who they are, they will follow the crowd. So they are just one step away from the next hanging fish. They are like constantly being baited. So anybody can bait them. All they need to do is put them in a tight spot for 2 minutes. They will leave everything and follow. All they need to do is someone who has some money to spray around. Your children have forgotten where they are coming from. They are following. All they need to do is what everybody is listening to, that cool boy or cool girl. Everybody's around them because your children cannot stand alone. The fear of missing out is a big deal. So they follow. That's why. And that comes from no confidence. And for all you know, that child that they're all following is probably a child that has built boldness from coming from a place of abuse. Do you know that people who are abused, people who come from home where there's no compassion, and all of that, they build boldness from the need to survive. So that survival instinct kicks. Nobody will die, or nobody wants to die. So when you cannot get what you want in this life, you will build tough skin to live with what you have. So a lot of these people who seem to be the cool or the bold ones in school, coming from homes where their parents are not available, homes where they have been abused, homes where there's no boundaries, home where no accountability, homes that are probably rich, but there's no accountability. They have everything that they want, but they suffer on the inside. But they learn to survive without the parents, and all of that. And if this has happened for the longest time, they come out seeming like bold people. And so before you know it, your child is all around an abusive or abused person, and then drinking from their cup. So these are the issues. The last one I said I was going to share, the last one is when your child is not engaged positively. All right. When your child is not engaged positively, your child is not resourceful. You're not making your children do things that will engage them. Your children are not on a journey of personal development. Your children are not on anything that is effective development. Some of us will take our children, we keep them because we're telling stories here and there. We say, do this, enter the kitchen and all of that. We don't realize that this journey, you can't do it on your own. There is the need of higher knowledge. There is the need for mentorship. There is the need of learning in an environment with like minds. These are all the things that will fortify your children. So yes, your child needs to be in a community with like minds. Your child needs to be in a community where the child is getting higher knowledge, where the child begins to talk about things beyond what they watch on TV and all of that. Your children need to start becoming the adults that we want them to be. So if as an adult, you will need to set goals, you will need to plan your day, then the children need to start learning these things in bits right from today. So when you do this, you are already preparing them to be productive, to be resourceful, to know how to manage their time, manage themselves. You're teaching them principles like we do in the mastermind circle. So when you bring your children to the mastermind circle, we commit and we are on that journey together with you. Now, what that does for you is even where you are ignorant, we are there to supply you with the knowledge and the principles and, of course, the tools and strategies that you need. So with our support, you will be on track. And, of course, because we are also holding the child accountable, it means that the child is getting the support that the child needs. So over time, the child will walk that journey. It may not happen immediately, but over time. That's why we say to the parents, stay in the system. So now we've graduated some children from the junior partners. They've moved to the senior partners. The game is different. The curriculum is different. Even from last year to this year, our curriculum is different, more powerful, because even as a program, we are also on a journey. We are growing also. We started 2 years ago, almost 3 years. In the first year, what we had in the second year was better. What we had in the third year is better. So it will keep getting better. So if you don't commit to systems and you're up and down the place, you won't get the full benefit because you won't also evolve. So it's very important. Productive children are not easily swayed by all of these flashy things because they have a sense of purpose. So parents, what I'm trying to say is get your children on this path. For everything that I have said, what we have to do becomes necessary. We will finish this topic tomorrow. There is no way we won't have to come back to this. Thank you for joining me. And yes, we talked about the mastermind circle. If you want your child to be a part of this circle, at the end of this video, just check the description on YouTube or check the comment section on Facebook, and you will see all you need to join the mastermind circle. It is one of the most affordable systems that your child can get into, not because it is watered down, but because we know that you need this, and we want as many of you who need this to have no excuse for why your child shouldn't get into the mastermind circle. That's why the mastermind circle is less than 6,000 naira per month. So what it simply means is that in an entire year, you will be paying just about 70,000 for 12 months of mentorship, accountability, peer mentorship, support, guidance, and all of this. All right, so you have the information scrolling right now on the screen. You can also screen grab it and use it to make payment to join the mastermind circle. If you have any more, you want more information, you can also call us on the number on your screen right now, 0813062156. Parents, the advantage you give your child today will help that child. It will point the child to the way that the child should go. And children who understand the why and know the way that they should go and understand why they are going that way are not easily influenced by their peers, by their siblings, by their peers, by people around them, by their friends, or by society. Thank you very much for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow again at 8:30 a.m. where we'll be doing another episode of the How Can I Support My Child series. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye. Thank you for joining.